under the laws of the United States, not the laws of the United States of America, because the laws for the United States of America, again, are the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, all right? And from the Articles of Confederation, they created the Northwest Ordinance and Territory. And then they had the Organic Constitution of 1787. Nobody's ever taken, no president has ever taken the Article 6 oath properly. Therefore, from George Washington to the present day, there is no Article 3 court because none of them have taken the proper oath of office. So when they tell you the Constitution doesn't matter, it doesn't apply in this courtroom, they're being 100% factual and honest with you. They're telling you the truth because it's not the Constitution that binds them. To perform any or all of their usual banking functions except as otherwise prohibited. They're showing you that this is all business. You have to learn contract. It's all business. The appropriate authority having immediate supervision of banking institutions. Remember, Proclamation 2039 says any person engaged in banking business, whether selling commercial paper, loaning commercial paper. Well, isn't that what you do when you walk into a bank and you sign an application along with a tender and a laundry receipt to it? Isn't that a security obligation of the United States? Sure it is. If you read the 73rd Congress First Session Volume 77 Part 1, it very quickly becomes apparent that that is a security obligation of the United States. That is the very definition Congress set forth in the 73rd Congress First Session Volume 77 Part 1. And they said it not once, not twice, but 4 times throughout that 1,156-page document. Okay? And Congress assembled from March 4th to March 9th. 4 times they state that an application with tender and a receipt is a security obligation of the United States. Well, who's authorized to create security obligations of the United States? We are. Why? Because they mortgaged everything. They had to give us a remedy. We create the new money that is then lent to the bank. The bank then lends it then extends it to the Office of the Comptroller of Currency for verification and validation purposes. After being verified and validated, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency turns it over to the Secretary of Treasury. The Secretary of Treasury then prints Federal Reserve notes that are then issued to the banks that are for bank-to-bank deposits and no other purposes are authorized. Period. Your notes, drafts, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptance, trade acceptances are the new money. In each state or any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Listen to that. Subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Is authorized and empowered under such regulations as such authority may prescribe to permit any banking institution. So that's a blanket statement. Remember, we have banks, we have trust banks, we have credit unions, we have all these different banking institutions, right? So it's a banking statement. Prescribed to permit any banking institution in such state or place other than banking institutions covered by the foregoing paragraph to perform any or all of their usual banking functions except as otherwise prohibited. All banks. So we're talking about the Federal Reserve Bank. We're talking about member banks. We're talking about non-member banks. We're talking about persons who engage in banking, which is your juristic persons, your domestic trust, your United States citizen. The Social Security juristic person is in fact a transmitting utility, okay? That transfers obligations, moves debts, debits and credits. Okay, it's the game piece that moves the debits and credits. All right. And also plants the assets within your estate, which is your birth estate, which is evidenced by the birth certificate. Performance of all usual and normal banking functions, except as otherwise prohibited, shall apply for a license. Where'd the licensing come from? 40 Statute at Large 411 Section 7E. It's a military order. It's under the new trust, the trust indenture that the United States is now going to abide by under military occupation. That's why Executive Order 100, which is the Lieber Code, Article 2, Article 31, and Article 38 have so much force, weight, and effect. For a license, therefore, to the Secretary of Treasury, such application shall be filed immediately through the Federal Reserve Bank. When they're saying that you have to have a license, or that the Treasury has to have a license, what are they telling you? It's a business. It's a business. Businesses have licenses. What else do businesses have? Insurance. Insurance is for what? In case shit happens. Like Cat Williams says, if shit doesn't happen, you should get your money back. Well, I agree, except for there's no money in the economy. It's just debits and credits. That's it. It's ones and zeros on a ledger. And they're keeping a ledger, and you don't have your own ledger, and they're using a ledger against you that no one individual maintains and can testify under the pains and penalties of perjury to its accuracy, but you don't have your own fucking ledger. And so your lack of knowledge and being able to keep your own books is causing you heartache and strife because your record supersedes their record, because no agent and agency can testify under the pains and penalties of perjury to the accuracy of the record, because no one individual keeps your master file and handles your master file exclusively. It's passed from hand to hand to hand, from person to person to person, but you don't have any record of what you're doing. The new monies on account that you're creating by extending your credit applications, notes, drafts, bills of exchange, banker's acceptance, trade acceptances are launched to a receipt, which is a security obligation of the United States. The Federal Reserve Bank shall then transmit such applications to the Secretary of the Treasury. Licenses will be issued by the Federal Reserve Bank upon approval of the Secretary of Treasury. The Federal Reserve Banks are hereby designated as agents of the Secretary of Treasury, meaning the Federal Reserve Bank agencies are physical agents of the Treasury if you endorse your damn documentation properly. If you qualify your endorsement, if you make it known what it is for. This is not for commercial purposes. It's not to be ledgered on the Federal Reserve's bookkeeping entry securities. It's supposed to be taken directly to the Secretary of Treasury, to the Treasury Department, to be set off 48 Statute at Large 112, dollar for fucking dollar, and not for reissuance. For the receiving of applications and the issuance of licenses in his behalf and upon his instructions. Under further order, no individual, partnership, association, or corporation, including any banking institution, shall export or otherwise remove or permit to be withdrawn from the United States. United States, that 10 square mile area, Washington, D.C., the federal enclaves, Guam, Samoa, Puerto Rico, military forts, bases, arsenals, the state colleges, the state capitals, or any place subject to the jurisdiction thereof of any gold coin, gold bullion, or gold certificates, except in accordance with regulations prescribed by or under license issued by the Secretary of the Treasury. No permission to any banking institution to perform any banking function shall authorize such institution to pay out any gold coin, gold bullion, or gold certificates except as otherwise as authorized by the Secretary of the Treasury, nor to allow withdrawal of any currency for hoarding, nor to engage in any transaction in foreign exchange except such as may be undertaken for legitimate and normal business requirements, for reasonable traveling and other personnel requirements. Personnel requirements should be a huge flag for you guys. This applies only to government employees, volunteers, and agents. Period.